my beautiful budding bakers. We have got fun today because we are doing caramel squares. Caramel squares, I hear you. Oh my God, are you still doing more chocolate? Yes, I am. Leftover Easter eggs can be melted, poured over this caramel deliciousness. You just gotta believe all that chocolate's gonna disappear like magic. So we are starting We are starting with our food processor because today we're going to do the base very quick. So we are starting with 225 grams of plain flour. Now remember, when you're doing caramel squares, you don't have to eat the whole tray. You can share. And the great thing, when all this malarkey is finished, you have some celebration and you're learning skills how to bake. In goes my 225 grams of flour, followed by cold butter. This needs to be cold. Do not attempt to do this with soft butter. In it goes. Clink. 2 seconds while I get my knife, because I forgot to get my knife. Do chop it up into squares because you don't want your mixture to die. So I don't particularly want my food processor to die, so in this goes. This needs to be pulsed. It's not completely blended because I want it to look like sand. Okay, so we have got our butter, 225 grams of flour. We have our butter, 175 grams of butter. We also have 75 grams of caster sugar, but I'm not going to add that yet. Upside down skills. Now I am pulsing because I don't want to have pastry in my food processor. Beatbox. So having a look. Now if I zoom this a bit closer, can you see? It's just like sand, okay? It has very cold butter and your flour. Back again. And upside down. I'm just going to put the sugar in as the last pulse. Clean as you go. Uno, dos, tres. Now, that's it. Say what? That is it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All you need to do is take off your... Thank you, Mr. Magimix. Off you go to the corner. Behave while I'm gone. Don't fight with Ken. Don't fight. Next thing I'm going to do is get my tray. In it goes. That is it. So pretend you're in Spain on the beach. You've got your pina colada in your hand. You've got maybe some yummy crisps and nibbles. And you're thinking of fond memories when it was hot and sunny. Although today it is amazing. It is looking fabulous outside. So as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm going to pat all the way down. So it is like, as I said, it is like sand. Do not panic. This will combine, melt, end up with deliciousness within minutes. Now I'm going to use a fork. Now the other reason what is great when you're using a fork, you can actually feel the texture of this tray bake. So you can feel that it's a little bit too heavy on the side. Sure, we can all say that this morning, a little too heavy. Just run around the garden 50 laps. And in fact, I think it was that amazing Dan of the Trisha Show. I'm giving you a shout out, Dan, because you're amazing. I just spotted on your Instagram that you had thousands and thousands of laps running around your garden and you raised €10,000 for charity. Absolutely amazing. Dan, you rock. So, as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm scoring with the fork. Now, the reason I'm also scoring with the fork, can you see, if I zoom in a little bit, you've got little pockets of that shortbread that are raised, because as I'm going along with my fork, it's very similar to the ploughing championships, and I am creating a sticking board for the caramel to stick to the shortbread. So you can flatten it down, but I prefer to have a little bit of texture because it makes that a little bit easier when you're pouring on the caramel to stick. Now, this will go in 180 for 15-20 minutes. Check it at 15. It could bake for another 20. So that's 180. Literally, that's all she wrote, whizzed in the food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you can mix it exactly the same as if we were doing short crumb based, like in our scones, and it's show me the money, show me the money. If you are going to do that, you then need to put it into the fridge for a full hour. When it comes out, sprinkle in your sugar and do exactly the same. You will have the same sand effect. Don't squeeze it. If you squeeze it, you compress and you end up with a very heavy, dense base. In it goes. Bye, bye. Now, what I do have is one prepared earlier because I'm amazing. These caramel slices are done in honor of my beautiful Lucy. So today is Lucy's 17th birthday. So happy birthday, Lucy, and I will definitely embarrass you even more tomorrow. I'll see if I can find some attire to embarrass my daughters because they've disowned me already. So we have got our caramel squares. The caramel is easy peasy lemon squeezy yet again. I will have this photographs all up on Facebook. So coming through, and while I'm discussing, we have got a full can of condensed milk. We have got 150 grams of butter, and then we have 100 grams of golden syrup. Into the pot it goes. Now, Alexa, set timer for 15 minutes, please.
15 minutes, starting now.
Thank you. How many times do I put something into the oven and you forget to put the timer on, and what's that smell? No! So if you're going to make something delicious, set a timer to make sure that comes out on time. Now, I have 350 grams of beautiful chocolate. This is a mix because I don't have any of my 50% dark chocolate. So I have mixed 70%, 100 grams of 70% dark chocolate, mixed with 250 grams of milk chocolate. So you still get that lovely sort of slightly fruity undertones with the chocolate. So, getting my microwave bowl. In the microwave. So this will take about 2 minutes. Can I tell all my beautiful children out there? How are all my beautiful children coping? Are you just amazing? Are your parents driving you nuts? Get up! Oh my God, it's 10 o'clock. Have you not done your bed yet? You make these for your mums and dads. Awesome. Make sure you have responsible adult, not your husband, responsible adult to watch the caramel. The caramel, from the minute it starts to melt, will take about 7 minutes. So you go, set your timer, 7 minutes. Setting timer for 7 minutes. We're going to have caramel on a beautiful base in about 7 minutes. Set your timer. 7 minutes. Another way of testing your caramel. Tiny bit of water in a I nearly said shot glass, in a breakfast glass, half full of ice cold water, a teaspoon of the caramel. If it goes into your glass, and you'll see this, you'll see the caramel, and the caramel will have this sort of snake. If you can pinch it and squeeze it almost like tube of toothpaste, you're ready to rock and roll. It normally takes about 7 minutes, so the minute you melt, 7 minutes, kaboom, take it off the pot. What you don't want is hard toffee, because if you put hard toffee, you'll break your teeth. It's not a wonderful experience. Nobody will ask you to make caramel squares. So I am armed now with my spatula, and I'm going to check my chocolate to see if it's nearly melted. So while I'm doing that, as I said, I have got my beautiful toffee goo going to heat that. There is no point in heating that caramel while you have the base in your oven. You need to wait for the base to come out, cool it for 10 minutes before you attempt to do the caramel, because other than that you'll have this shortbread base and it'll suck in all the caramel. You don't want that. So we're nearly there. Now, can you see just the mixture so that you can see? I have a mix of the 70% and the milk chocolate. And again, somebody would say 350. Oh my God, grams of chocolate. You have to have that lovely thick layer of chocolate. Now, the other thing what I've done, obviously this has been done about an hour beforehand. It has set. I got a knife and I literally ran the knife all the way down while the toffee was still relatively sticky. As you can tell, it's literally that lovely golden honey hue. I should have left it a little bit longer because it's raised a little bit. It's not going to make any difference. But the great tip is, when you do melt your chocolate, when you pour that chocolate on, it will actually settle into the cuts that you've already made, which makes life very easy when cutting your caramel squares. And now we're sucking these, lads. Oh, this is fab. I am feeling, now, this is warm, it's not hot, so the residual heat on my chocolate, I am going to continue stirring. So can you see the consistency of my chocolate? One of the things people do, and they tend to do, is they over melt chocolate. If you over melt chocolate, you can end up with a bloom when it settles and comes back to room temp, and it basically looks like as if it's been in a shop window for about 12 years and it's gone all that sort of grey colour. So what you don't want is your chocolate to lose that sheen. Now we can go really fralderals later, and I'll show you another little trick. Because what's also lovely is when you do put down your chocolate, if any of you work with chocolate in general, chocolate transfers are fabulous. They're plastic sheets, they're cocoa butter pattern of anything from bees to flowers to you name it. When you do your chocolate tray covered in chocolate, you can lay a chocolate transfer sheet on top of your caramel, leave it to set, you peel back and you've got your cocoa chocolate transfer on your chocolate squares, and they are very sophisticated. So as you can see, my chocolate is nearly there. And we have a few lumps and bumps, but the residual heat is melting my chocolate. I am not over melting the chocolate. The consistency should look a bit like golden syrup. Not too runny. And another test is that you can dip your finger into the chocolate and bring it to your bottom lip. Now, in this time, probably not very wise to do, but to check the temperature of your chocolate, it should be just room lip temperature, and that's perfect with regards to putting it onto your chocolate. So here we go, lads. If we had a drum roll, please, ladies and gents, boys and girls. The pièce de résistance. This chocolate, by the way, is Calabo. I like using Calabo chocolate. It is my preference. For those who can't get chocolate or who can't seem to grab chocolate, this is where your Easter eggs, for anyone who has Easter eggs, you can melt your chocolate and spread all over your chocolate square. Yum! You can then top with crunchies if you want to. You could top with crushed Maltesers. Because listen, lads, it's your chocolate slice. You can do whatever you want. And if you don't want caramel squares, and if you don't like caramel squares, don't make them. Easy as, just don't make them. So can you imagine your parents looking in? It's okay, Mom, I've got everything under control. I'm in the kitchen. It's okay, I'm cleaning as I'm going. There's no mess in the kitchen. Everything's under control. And then they come in looking for a cup of tea and a something. Because everybody has something. And what do they see? This glistening tray of deliciousness. Ness. And again, oh lads, this is where you smear your troubles away in the kitchen. Kids, get out your aprons and bake away. OMG. Now, technically that could be one portion, or when you cut it up, could make 24. So what I will do is I'll do a when this starts to settle, you will see the score marks we made on the tray. When you do that, it makes it much easier to cut into small squares, and life will be easy again. So lads, I have got my base in the oven. There is no point listening to me for 7 minutes while I make the caramel. It is as easy as the butter and the golden syrup and your full can of condensed milk. Stir, wait until all of that is melted, crank up the heat a little, 7 minutes, set the timer. You will then have the glue beautiful caramel. You pour it on your base, you leave it at least 15 minutes. You get your knife, score, 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 you get it all ready. You then get your chocolate, 350 of your dark chocolate or an amalgamation of all the goodies you have left over after Easter. You pour it onto your tray, give it a, how's your father, leave it out. Do not put it into a chiller. Most people will, it'll affect your chocolate. Chocolate will set regardless. You do not need to put it into a fridge. If you do like to have the chew like a Twix bar and you want to have that firm, by all means, you can shove it into the fridge. Shove it into your gob afterwards, and we will see you tomorrow at 10 for more goodies. Bye.